The following review is intended for entertainment purposes and targeted for adult fans of the series.
However, she does fire something at Pop Pop that is once again only established in this episode. When he says hello. Hello there, heroes! I'm the Orange Ranger, and welcome to another Power Rangers Dino Fury episode review. Listen, I am going to once again apologize for the lack of videos coming out lately. I just feel like life won't stop being hectic. I feel like if I'm not at work 10, 11, 12 hours a day, I'm hanging out with my new friends. And I know some of you are going to say, that's not a bad thing, don't worry about it, we'll be patient and wait for your content. I'm gonna feel bad anyway. I have a stack of comic books underneath my TV over there, 12 deep, waiting for comically long reviews. I said previously that the 3 Netflix Dino Fury episodes would be reviewed over 3 weeks. We're pushing past the month mark at this point. I will say, without going into too many details about my personal life just yet, I am about to make a rather significant change that I'm hoping will give me more time to work on videos. And just to give you all a hint, I'm not talking about not hanging out with my friends anymore. Anyway, let's get into an episode whose title screams goofy Power Rangers schlock, but I've been hearing is actually one of the best episodes this season. Do you all remember when Amelia was a ghost hunter? Pepperidge Farm remembers. Let's take a look at the 11th episode of Dino Fury, McNuggets and Fries. McScary Manor.
Please make sure you're subscribed to the channel.
Yeah, and make sure you got your notifications set up by hitting that little bell icon. Right you.
What he said was, you can consider checking us out on Patreon or Ko-fi at Orange Ranger Videos.
The episode begins with the return of Pop Pop, Amelia's grandfather. He's doing the fix-up thing, visiting an old, scary mansion that's very clearly abandoned. Cobwebs everywhere, half the furniture covered in drop cloths. I mean, maybe he's doing a fix-it job for a real estate agent that's trying to flip the place. Anyway, McScary Manor, he quips. More like McScary Manor.
Roll credits.
Anyway, he finds the problem, a busted pipe coming out of something coming out of the floor in the corner of the living room, and begins replacing it. But then he hears a spooky voice, and when the spooky voice repeats, he pratfalls his way out of the mansion, literally diving out the window. Meanwhile, over at Buzz Blast, they're putting glitter in goo, and Javi is telling Amelia about story ideas from Jane that she finds boring. He slips in one about a pirate ghost, Purple Beard, though I would have thought it'd been cuter if it had been Brown Beard, a nice little reference back there. But it turns out that he was just kidding to her sadness. Pop Pop then comes wandering in, Jane having asked him to fix her air conditioner. And by the by, in this episode, Jane is wearing this orange dress that makes her character look a lot better than she deserves to. They can tell that something is wrong, and Pop Pop tells them about his encounter with the ghost. Amelia is psyched, especially since she just got her spook snare fixed. But Pop Pop forbids her from going. But when he leaves to go fix the AC, she tells Javi basically that she's going to go anyway, especially since Pop Pop left the keys to the mansion sitting on her desk. Amelia heads to the manor and starts investigating, hearing the same spooky voice. But the suspense overed quickly, though, as a Sporix beast pops out, clearly looking for something. Annoyed, Amelia calls Zeta with the news, but when she turns around, the Sporix beast has found her, wrapping her up in a cloth and saying the curse of Tombtress is upon her. Amelia manages to get away, and she and the monster fight a little bit, with Amelia doing her best to kick the monster away since her arms are pinned up. She gets knocked down, but then the other Rangers show up to defend her. The monster fires a moon blast that Javi does absolutely nothing to try and avoid. He seems okay, but then gets really emotional about these friends he fights alongside and a pet goldfish that died some time ago. Does this beam make you drunk or something? No, the moon beam amplifies emotion because of reasons. Anyway, the Rangers morph. Javi's still emotional, now about just how good at posing they are. Izzy says that nobody can make her brother cry. Except for her, sometimes. Javi is literally too emotional to fight, so Zato kicks Tombtress into some no Black Ranger Sentai footage, and the fight resumes. She's pretty fast for a walking pyramid, so Zato uses the sprint boost key, but to no effect. Tombtress blasts Amelia this time, Ollie noticeably calling out to her, but she's not sad, she's angry.
No, I'm not afraid. I'm angry.
She lays into Ollie, saying his skepticism is what made her go and look for the ghost in the first place. Mucus comes and retrieves Tombtress, saying that she had a mission to fulfill.
You have a mission to fulfill!
Anyway, and they leave. Javi and Amelia realize that they are up against a deadline at Buzz Blast, so despite their condition, they have to go back to work. This ought to be good, though I can just sense an annoying Jane and Jayborg scene coming.
I was the wrong one!
Yeah, turns out I was wrong about this one. Javi gets wrapped up in making hot chocolate for the two of them, and then Pop Pop comes back to the office looking for the mansion keys. Amelia is a snot about it, though there is a reason at least for her to be negatively characterized this time. However, she fires something at Pop Pop that, once again, is something that's only established in this very episode, but they act like has been going on the whole time. She admits to going to the mansion, and when Pop Pop says that he's explicitly told her not to go, she says that he's always telling her not to do dangerous things and needs to treat her like an adult and not be so overprotective.
I don't wanna be so damn protected.
He storms off to go find the keys that she lost. Nice comeback there, Pop Pop. The other Rangers get to Buzz Blast and piece together that the mansion must have been so messy because Tombtress was looking for something. When Amelia mentions that Pop Pop is headed back there to look for the keys, Javi realizes that he's had them the entire time. He found them while the other Rangers were fighting the monster. Amelia takes them to go return them to Pop Pop, but Zato says wait. If Amelia tells Pop Pop that Javi had the keys, he'll put together that Javi must be a Power Ranger.
Your words cause me curious mind pain.
Why? Javi was walking by, saw that Amelia was in the mansion, there was a monster attack, the Power Rangers showed up, he ran into the mansion to see if she was okay, and found the keys. Or heck, don't even mention that it was Javi that found them.
I'm sorry, Pop Pop. I slipped the keys into one of my desk drawers and it must have just slipped my mind. I was all stressed out after the monster attack and the Power Rangers saved me.
She just says that she has an idea to deal with that and then leaves without telling the Rangers or us what that idea is. Over at Area 62, and by the way, just so any of you don't think that I missed this little plot point, at the beginning of the episode, Pop Pop mentions that he's done work at Area 62, so that's interesting. Void Knight proves what an incredible tactical mind that they have by changing their mind about a plan almost immediately. Tombtress has the ability to sense valuable objects. I will admit that this is a fitting ability for a pyramid monster to have, since pharaohs were often buried in pyramids with many valuable objects, but it does still kind of feel like they're picking this monster's abilities out of a hat at this point. So Void Knight wants the monster to use that ability to find the powerful item that it apparently sensed in the spooky house. However, when Mucus points out how Tombtress had the Rangers infighting and crying, they say, you know what? That's a good point. New plan, forget about the house, take out the Rangers. So anyway, back at the mansion, Amelia's plan was to show up morphed as the Pink Ranger to return the keys to Pop Pop that the Rangers found. Clever enough? Thumbs up. He takes the keys and gives her a red and orange Dino Fury key that he found in a crawl space. Pop Pop thanks the Pink Ranger for saving Amelia and starts talking about how she always wants to get herself into dangerous circumstances investigating the paranormal. And here's why. Amelia's parents disappeared when she was just a baby under mysterious paranormal type circumstances. Ever since then, Amelia has wanted to investigate the paranormal, trying to piece together the mystery of her parents' disappearance. However, Pop Pop swore to someone, I wouldn't imagine the parents since they vanished, maybe to the baby Amelia herself, that he would always protect her, hence getting so upset about her endangering herself constantly.
Oh, don't cry, are you?
The Pink Ranger tells Pop Pop that Amelia probably doesn't know about that promise, which he confirms, and says that even if he is a little overprotective of her, Amelia probably loves him a great deal. Then we wrench ourselves away from that emotion as Solon calls Amelia to get her to another fight. The beam seems to have worn off as Javi appears to be back in fighting shape, but this time it's Izzy that gets zapped and her fear is amplified. And if you think about it, that makes sense, because green heroes are usually weak to fear. She runs off, with Javi leaving to go watch over her. Ollie and Zato then get zapped as well. Ollie gets super happy and friendly. Zato... Let's talk for a second about Zato. He gets very sullen and quiet and droopy and says everything seems boring and he just doesn't feel like doing anything. Amelia says that he's now super lazy.
Oh, you almost had it.
I'm sorry, but I have to get a little deep here for just a moment.
Can I be real a second? For just a millisecond. Let down my guard and tell the people how I feel a second.
They had such an opportunity here to make a minor but powerful statement about mental illness, and they completely screwed it up. Instead of saying, oh no, Ollie's super happy and Zato's super depressed, they chose instead to play right into the stereotype that people suffering from depression are just being lazy. And listen, I'm not clutching my pearls about this as much as it might sound like. It's just that laziness isn't really an emotion, and it's clear what Zato is dealing with, and it's just so disappointing.
Disappointed!
Realizing that she's on her own now, Amelia decides to use the new key, which the Morphin Grid apparently just told her all about. It is the Blazing Dino Key. Using it gives her a double shoulder armor of an orange Dimetrodon. And here's your fun fact for the day. Did you know that Dimetrodon is not considered to be a dinosaur, actually dying out a long time before dinosaurs even appeared on Earth? Dimetrodon is considered to be a non-mammalian synapsid. As the name suggests, the armor gives her fire powers, which she uses to beat Tombtress back until she grows. Zato is still feeling depressed, so Amelia grabs his key and basically summons the T-Rex Champion Zord by herself. But when she does, the Dimetro Zord pops out of the ground as well, summoned by its key. And coincidence upon coincidence, the two Zords can combine into a Megazord.
Oh well, gosh darn, ain't that convenient.
The T-Rex Blazing Megazord is red and orange, and the Knight figure for the Dimetro Zord is all orange, and I want it so bad, and... Anyway, Amelia takes the driver's seat and the other Rangers beam in. 3 of them still aren't in fighting shape, but Javi and Amelia are enough to fight in the Megazord. Amelia summons the Mega Fury Saber and slices Tombtress up with hot fire. By the way, as you may have noticed, Tombtress is very difficult to say. Wrap up at Buzz Blast, where Pop is still working on Jane's office AC. Amelia comes in and apologizes to him. It's nice to know that somebody cares for her enough to want to protect her, etc., etc., etc. Here's the crazy thing, though. The comedy wrap-up is with Jane and... just Jane, actually. And to make it even stranger, it's a little bit goofy. Pop keeps sending Jane back into her office to test the AC, and it's either too breezy, or too hot, or too cold. But it was actually pretty funny. Let's balance the scales. Episode 11, Oreo McFlurry. Pros, a very heartfelt core to the episode, Amelia and Pop's individual performances, and the amazingly orange Dimetrozord. Cons, the name takes away from the episode, the missed chance to call Zato depressed, and a lack of focus on Amelia. Gotta say it, just as good as I was told. McScary Manor gets 4.5 scales out of 5. What struck me now that I've watched this episode is how it was a real middle of the season filler. Yeah, there's a new Zord, but if you think about it, that happens kind of randomly. But it was really good filler. It advanced the characters with a nice heartfelt emotional story. It added some mystery to Amelia's backstory. Now I know where all those Void Knight and Mrs. Freeze theories have been coming from, and was just a fun episode to watch. Another sterling example of how good Dino Fury can be. So now we've reached another point of confusion. We have a preview released for the 12th episode of Dino Fury, which indicates that it's coming to Netflix, but it hasn't yet, and we don't know when it's going to. So, with the chance that I'm going to have to eat these words sooner than later, for the moment, Kamen Rider Dragon Knight reviews are going to resume. So, let's take a peek at the 3rd episode of Kamen Rider Dragon Knight, Kamen Rider Incisor. Kit fights Kamen Rider Incisor, a spoiled rich kid who has been fooled by a mysterious villain. When he struggles, Batman finally decides to train his new ally. That is going to do it for another Power Rangers Dino Fury episode review. Thank you, heroes, so much as always for watching. Now that the video's done, you can let me know what you thought of this episode, as well as my review of it, down in the comments below. And while you're down there, make sure you smack that thumbs up button to let me know that you enjoyed this video. And if you'd like to lend some financial support to my channel in a way that gets you some cool stuff, feel free to check out my Teespring store. Until next time, heroes, may the power protect you. He slips in one about a pirate near the marina, a ghost. Though I thought it would have been a cute reference if it had been Brownbeard instead. And Purplebeard, although I thought it would... Interesting admission there. And I don't know what the rest of it is, though. She lays into Ollie, saying his skepticism is what made her go and look for the... Mucus comes and retrieves Tombtress. It's a tough name. Javi and the other one. Javi gets wrapped up in making hot chocolate for the two of them because Tombtress was looking for something. To return the keys to Pop that the Rangers found. Pop thanks the Pink Ranger for saving Amelia, saying things. Did you know that Dimetrodon was not even something that you can say without your throat drying out? No! Using fire attacks to knock Tombtress out and just really completely The T-Rex Blazing Megazord is red and orange, and the figure for the god dang it. The T-Rex Blazing Wing Knight finally decides to train his new ally. Oh, no. I can't even call him Wing Knight, it's Batman.